Guys, just got my drink. Let's do it, man. Some late night boxing talk. You know what? It's a really good atmosphere tonight. It's just the feeling of staying up. I think it's the bank holiday Monday, so I probably will stay out for the Jake Paul fight. Let's see. Right, let's talk Manny Pacquiao, man. Let's talk about, in my opinion, in many people's opinion, the greatest fighter ever. Okay, let's see, man. I don't know if it's going to be too late for most of my followers, but hopefully we'll get some people on, maybe from the US or the Philippines. I do say so, man. I do say so, and many other people do. Listen, at the end of the day, it's a matter of opinion, but it's a fact that Manny Pacquiao has achieved more than any boxer in any era, any generation. He surpassed all of the other greats. He's an 8-weight world champion. You know what he's achieved inside and outside the ring. He fought the best. He didn't duck anyone. He's had some losses, but who cares? If most of the fighters fought the best, they would have losses as well. But like I said before, I respect other people's opinions. Some people are going to say, you know, Muhammad Ali's the greatest, or Tyson, or Leonard, or whoever, and you could make an argument for all those greats. But for me, Pacquiao is he's my favorite. I just think he just brings a different energy to his fights. He's just amazing. When you think that he's only 5 foot, you know, he's not a tall man, 5'6". For most part, he's been beating bigger guys. The hand speed, the power, the excitement, the relentlessness. Never going to be a Pacquiao again. The greatest fighters all have losses. I'd agree. But, you know, but some people would say Mayweather never lost. And obviously, you know, you've got to put Floyd up there with one of the greatest. I prefer Pacquiao. But there can be an argument that Floyd he never lost. He beat some great fighters, but I prefer Manny. You know, I suppose, look, it's kind of a mythical title because there's no fact that, you know, who is the best in boxing. It's going to come down to opinions, but I think we'd all agree that Mayweather, Pacquiao, they are, you know, they're in that, you know, they're all in that same room. You know, they're all the greats. Ali, Rocky Marciano, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Hearns, Hagler, Pacquiao, Mayweather. They're all in that special room. Some of his losses were robberies also, 100%. I mean, he got robbed in the first Bradley fight. I love Timothy Bradley. He's a good human being. He's a great guy. He was a brilliant fight. I think he was underrated, but he didn't win that fight. Even Teddy Atlas said that he thought Pacquiao won that fight. And I think deep down, Bradley knows that he didn't win the fight. And he definitely, I mean, I think he won the Jeff Horn fight. That was terrible. But even though he got robbed, you know, he didn't affect. Let's read these questions. In it, people forget Manny shouldn't be fighting that well. Manny's stuff. Well, you know your boxing because Manny's not a natural welterweight. When does he ever really make 147? You know, most of the time he comes in at he weighs in at 145, 146. So, you know, he's never been a natural welterweight. Most of the natural welterweights are, you know, they walk around at middleweight, even higher than that, and they're, you know, losing a lot of weight to get down. So, you know, that's one of the factors why I say Manny's the greatest, because he's a small man beating big men. And you know, what can you say really? What are you guys doing anyway? And where are you coming from? Is some of you from the United States? Let us know in the chat, because I've got a lot of different followers here. Some follow me not for the boxing, because I've only started doing these boxing videos quite recently. Hard to compare decades. '80s boxers were Hagler, Hearns, Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, you made a good point, and I've said it before. Pacquiao could have beaten any of those guys, and those guys could have beaten Manny as well. But that still doesn't take away my opinion, my decision in saying Manny's the greatest, and I love those guys. I mean, that's probably the best era in boxing, one of the best. The Fantastic Four, as you just said, Hagler, Hearns, Duran, and Sugar Ray Leonard. Those guys were unbelievable. But Pacquiao is in the same. He's in the same cloth. And yeah, we can't forget. De La Hoya is one of the greats. People forget about how good Oscar De La Hoya was. De La Hoya I think he's a 5-weight world champion. It might even be 6. And De La Hoya fought everyone as well, and he beat, and he got robbed a few times. I saw Manny live in the Coliseum in Manila in the '90s. Oh, you're very lucky, man. That's amazing. I'm happy. Good for you. When he fought a Japanese fighter, might have seen his last fight in Vegas, Filipino, living in California now. Yeah, I think I've seen that guy. He came and paid tribute to Manny, didn't he? It's like saying who is the best baseball player, Ruth, Aaron Bonds. But I'll be honest with you, Nathan. I don't know anything about baseball, so I can't really give you my opinion on that. It's baseball's huge over in the US, but it's not really big in the UK where I'm from. Obviously, I'm aware of the sport, but it's kind of a shame that I missed out. It was never really. It wasn't really televised over in the UK, so I didn't really grow up with baseball. So I can't really talk to you on that or debate because I don't know anything about it. But boxing is a sport that I love. Wow. So you saw Manny live, right? You saw Pacquiao in the '90s fight the What weight was he when he fought the Japanese fighter? Was that when Pacquiao was fighting at like 108 or 112? Was that right at the start? It's got to be right when he's at a lighter weight. What's it like seeing Manny live? That must be an experience. What do you think he's going to do at the moment, guys? I think he's going to retire. I don't know for sure. I love Floyd too, but 20 years from now, Manny will be remembered as greater. I agree. I think so. Some will disagree, obviously, and I like Floyd as well. He's unbelievable, but I just think Manny's just even though Floyd beat him, he's just there's something different. No, I'm not interested in that stuff anymore, man. I never was into pickup. I don't really like you know I don't like stuff that's dishonest and trickery and all that. It's not my way, man. My way was always about being honest with women and just being genuine. So I have nothing to do with that, man. We love watching Manny because of his good energy. 100%, man. 100%. He brings a real positivity, electric. He needs to retire. Too many hang on too long. It's a good point. I think Manny should retire as well, but I think he could do one more rematch of Ugas, but I wouldn't argue with that. In all honesty, he probably should have. Well, it's easy for me to say in our opinion, but probably should have retired when he beat Furman. That was such a good way to go out. I think the 2-year layoff was a bit too long. But having said that, he still boxed a great fight. When you think that he's nearly 43, Ugas is way better than people gave him credit for. Ugas is probably an elite fighter, or if not, just a notch down. And Manny still gave him a good fight. Yeah, Ugas won. He clearly won, but it was a close fight. If you score it round by round and you really study the fight, Pacquiao did bust him up in moments, but Ugas did outbox Pacquiao in quite a lot of spots of the fight, and that sort of caught the eyes of the judges. But it was a close fight. I was in Manila. There's zero crime when Manny fights. It's crazy, man. I heard about that. What's up, Benny? Good to see you, mate. It's just there's something in the atmosphere tonight where people are staying up later. So what the hell? I think he will have one more. I don't want him to get hurt. Neither do I. None of us want him to get hurt. He didn't sound like Mike Tyson after hanging up the gloves. He says his heart was so much to fight. You can't say the same for the Floyd. It's crazy, isn't it? If that's true, when Manny fights in the Philippines, there's no crime. So that basically means all the criminals are watching Manny fight. It's unbelievable. I think you're right, Nathan. I think we've all kind of been looking for boxing to kind of what you said is spot on. And I think for me, Manny Pacquiao was kind of like the closest because I wasn't obviously born around at the time. I was too young, when the days of Hagler, Hearns, that was just a little bit before my introduction to boxing, or the days of Ali. I mean, so Manny for me is like a throwback fighter. Manny's not a fighter who comes in there to hold and tap and run around. He comes in there blood, guts, warrior. Obviously, later on in his career, he improved. He learned to move his head more and jab and box and not just fly in, but at the heart of it, we love Pacquiao because he's a fighter, he's a warrior, and he's got a good chin. And yeah, man, the first fight I ever saw of Pacquiao, I just became a fan. And the first fight I saw was Manny Pacquiao versus Marco Antonio Barrera, who I love, I still love, legend, babyface assassin. And I saw Pacquiao taking licks from Barrera and then giving him twice as much back, and then he beat him. And I was like, whoa. It's like, who the hell? I was like, who's this Filipino guy? Pacquiao, he's unbelievable, man. Like, what's going on here? This guy, I didn't expect him. I didn't know who he was, obviously. I thought Barrera was going to make mincemeat out of him. Kind of funny now because, okay, let's read that. Manny opened up elite boxing to non-Western countries, Asia. He's an Asian fighter. He broke down stereotypes in Asian men. You know what? That's a good point because I never looked at it like that, and I'm kind of getting more educated on these matters. I never really looked at boxing. I never thought of it. I never really care about what race or someone's from, as long as they're a good person, a good fighter. But I see where you're coming from. Quite a lot of people have mentioned that, and we can't deny that some of these things go on in the world, which is a shame. But yeah, it's really good that you broke down stereotypes. And like I said, for me, I'm not from the Philippines, but it doesn't matter to me. I just love great fighters, and Manny just won me over when I saw his fighting style. It's unbelievable. Hello, what's up, Jay's videos? Is everybody staying up for the Jake Paul fight? Tyron Woodley. I've got to be honest, I'm not that interested in it, but I'm kind of am a little bit curious about it because of so much hype, social media, and Manny shames these young fighters who care to benefit. I totally agree with you. I think most of us have just got sick of fighters just wanting to keep their row and not fight the best. And I do think it's going to change now. I think a lot of fighters are going to get inspired by Manny's example, and they're going to want to create their own legacy, and they're going to start taking on the best. At least you can say at least Canelo's trying. At least he's doing something like that. I still think Pacquiao is better than Canelo. Canelo's on his way to be an all-time great as well, and he's just kind of going through people like butter. But I've got to say this time, not knocking Canelo. The people that Canelo's beaten, they're not better than the fighters that Pacquiao beat. But obviously, that's not his fault. You can only beat what's in front of you. And I'm not saying that Canelo hasn't beaten good people, because he has, but he hasn't had the challenges that Pacquiao had. That's what makes Pacquiao great as well. It's that you've got to look at the time and the people that he fought at that particular time and how good they were. Um, but who knows, man? If Canelo keeps winning, it seems like he can go up to heavyweight or cruiserweight. So let's see if he beats Caleb Plant, which I think he will. I don't can't see Caleb Plant beating Canelo, but you never know. Okay, so are you in the Philippines or are you in the United States? It's No, absolutely. In my live streams, there's no stereotyping or labeling. I treat everyone how I want to be treated. That's the way I was brought up. Oh, okay, Cali, USA, cool. California. I've got a lot of friends in the States, different parts. So I've got a lot of love for America, for the US. So I get a great support from you guys as well, which I appreciate. Yeah, and I mean, Sugar Ray Leonard, all those guys, they're warriors, man. They didn't care about, they didn't want to lose, but they weren't scared to lose, and they did lose, and they won a lot, and they fought the best. Oh, okay, that's all right, man. Yeah, listen, guys, man, I always try and say in the live streams, I can't stop people what they're going to write, but we try and respect everyone, and no trolling, anything like that. Obviously, you can disagree with me. We don't have to be hateful if we don't agree with each other. And there's a lot of people who don't agree with me, with me saying Pacquiao's the greatest of all time, and that's totally fine. I respect that. You've got to have your own opinion. I'm not going to hate someone or not like them because they don't agree with me. They like another fighter. It's totally fine. Yeah, I mean everyone would agree on that. Hearns Hagler, best first round in boxing history, probably the best 3 rounds. Right, that was just that's. I mean, can you imagine if boxing was like that all the time? It would be have a lot more fans. It's amazing. I think most of my UK fans they're asleep, man. It's too late for them. Always be positive, man. Unbelievable. Yeah, man. That's the great thing about boxing. You know, it does bring everyone together. I was saying that on one of my videos. I was giving advice for people with mental health, anxiety, depression. Great thing about joining the boxing gym in the UK, and I'm sure the same for America anyway. Everyone gets treated the same. It doesn't matter what color you are or what background or religion. When you come in the gym, there's you leave your egos at the door, and everyone is treated the same, and you're treated how you want, and that's great because obviously it's not like that everywhere, but that's why I like boxing. None of you have mentioned the Jake Paul fight. I don't suppose you're interested in it. It's only because it's happening. What do you think? What do you guys think about Canelo Plant? What's going to happen? Is Canelo going to destroy him, or has Plant got a chance? What do you reckon? I'm going to do quite a lot of Manny videos at some point. I want to start breaking down different fights. I'm waiting for the fight. LOL. I thought so. Me too. I might watch it. Jake is not bad for boxing. It's interesting. Yeah, there's a varied opinion. Some people don't hate it. I think the YouTubers is bad for boxing, and there's people that think it's great. I'm kind of in the middle. I wasn't keen on it at the start, but I can kind of see there are positives. I suppose it does bring more attention to boxing, but at the end of the day, whatever you think, you have to respect anyone who gets in the ring. It takes a lot of courage, whatever level you're at. What's up, Kieran Jones? One of my regulars. How you doing, man? You're up late. It's good to see you. It's bank holiday tomorrow anyway. Hey, Johnny, long time. Thoughts on Tommy Fury's coming up fight? Yeah, I think Tommy Fury's going to win. I think he's probably got. He's still early stages yet. I don't think he's going to be like his brother Tyson Fury, but I think he'll do pretty well. Yeah, if Tommy Fury wins and Jake Paul wins, I think Tommy Fury and Jake Paul will fight. That will be that'll be quite big, won't it? Because of the brands and the names. So I haven't seen much of Tommy Fury, but I've seen little bits, and he looks quite tough. But I don't think he hasn't got the talent that his brother's got, Tyson Fury. But I mean, Tyson Fury again, he's one of the greats in boxing at the moment. But we'll have to see. It's funny how before all these YouTubers were fighting online before. Now they're literally, yeah, it's true. I know what you mean. It's crazy, isn't it? The world's just changing, man. It's sometimes you have to question, you have to pinch yourself and say, is this really reality? What the way? I mean, I could never imagine years ago a YouTuber getting in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. It just would, if you said that to someone, they'd think you were crazy. And it's, yeah, that was strange. Ever watch Rough and Rowdy Amateur Boxing? Funny. Yeah, I've watched loads. I've been to shows. It's great. It's more proof we're living in a simulation. Yeah, it's like we're living in a virtual video game, isn't it? It's crazy, man. I sometimes question, is it a negative or a positive, the way that the world's going. I'm not saying everything, obviously, right? I am a positive person, but I just think sometimes is it going too far? This whole kind of obsession with being famous and being on social media and having a following, and it's, I don't know, man. It's weird. But obviously, the younger generation, that's what they love. That's what it sells, doesn't it? And that's what's in fashion at the moment. So none of you have even mentioned Canelo. I don't think there's no interest in Canelo. I think it's only really Pacquiao fans here, right? I understand. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of gutted, When Manny retires, I just feel a bit lost. I just feel like boxing's not going to be the same, but it's kind of bit of a heartbreak. I heard Jake Paul. Listen, man, I've got to be honest. Canelo will kill him, man. That can't be allowed. That fight. I don't care what Jake Paul says or listen, man. I give him credit. He's brave. He ain't beating Canelo, man. If he beats Canelo, then I'm just gonna stop watching boxing, man. Seriously, that's just like. I mean, that's more absurd than Rocky 3. He ain't beating Canelo, man. Canelo will break his ribs. Canelo's too good, man. I mean, you can't just go from fighting, people that are kind of amateurish and jumping in with the pound for pound greats. No, the weight won't matter because Jake Paul's 189, 190. Canelo fights at, between 175. Canelo probably walks around at 190, 200 pounds. So the weight won't matter. Canelo would knock him out within 3 rounds. I reckon even one round, he's taken him out. One of those body shots, Jake Paul he's done. Canelo's too strong, man. Canelo's a beast. Yeah, it's sad, and it feels like it's not just Pacquiao retiring. It's like a part of yourself that is, without sounding too over the top. It's like you feel like part of yourself is dying because probably most of you, like me, have been watching Pacquiao for like 20 years, and you've got so many good memories with friends going out or watching him live. And for that to end, it's like a mini death. Sad. Canelo is good, but I don't think he's fought the caliber of fighters as Mayweather, De La. No, I agree with you, definitely not, because he hasn't really had that level of fighters. And you got to give it credit as well, man. Floyd, you know, people are criticizing Mayweather, but Mayweather outclassed him. You know what I mean? And you know, people are going to say, "Oh yeah, but Canelo was young then." But I don't think you can make that excuse because when Canelo fought Mayweather, he had about 40 something fights. He was, he was experienced, and he started, young, and he was dangerous. And some people were thinking he was going to beat Mayweather. Mayweather, he just took him to school, didn't he? Yeah, and Canelo's became a better fighter since. So Can't criticize Mayo for that. Got to give him credit. Yeah, Canelo's lost only to Mayweather that I can remember. But a lot of people think Triple G won. What do you guys think? I think Canelo definitely won the second. I probably agreed with that it was a draw, but it could have gone either way. I don't know, man. He's gone quiet. I don't know what's happening with Billy Joe Saunders. I don't know. I've got no idea. I don't know, and can't really comment. Don't know much about it. Same as you. Hasn't been much said online about him. So the good thing about today, though, is like you can go online and watch any fight now. Any of Pacquiao's old fights. Where back in the day, if you guys remember, when YouTube was just coming, you couldn't. YouTube didn't even have all the fights. You just get some clips. So we're quite lucky that we can watch the full fights. Yeah, yeah. Roy Jones. I mean, Roy Jones Jr. arguably is what he's one of the greats, 100%. You can't deny that in his prime. Obviously, it was a bit sad seeing him go on too long and start getting knocked out, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter about the losses because it's what he achieved and how he did it in his prime. No, I like Roy Jones. Well, he's a gentleman. He was an amazing fighter. I think Jake Paul's going to win, Kieran, to be honest. For some reason, I kind of want Tyrone Woodley to beat him. I'm not a fan of either. I don't really know them, but I just got a feeling that Jake Paul's going to win because from what I do know, which is not that much, Tyrone Woodley obviously was good in as an MMA UFC fighter, but he's a bit older now. Paul's younger, and I'm not sure how good Tyron Woodley's stand-up game is. And, boxing's different to UFC, different timing, it's different sport. And I just think, like Teddy Atlas said, that Jake Paul was picking his opponents. He's smart. He's picking the right people to make himself look good. But I could be wrong. But if I had to pick, I think Jake Paul's gonna. I think he's gonna knock him out. But yeah, this is based on very little information. I'm not really a fan of either. I don't know much about them, but my gut's telling me that Paul's gonna knock him out. But it should be a tough fight. I remember to subscribe, guys, as well. If you enjoy my videos, you've probably seen I do many different videos, not just on boxing, on confidence, motivation, mental health, dating, a lot of different stuff. But yeah, I'm quite excited to see the Canelo Caleb Plant. Even though I think Canelo's going to win, I do think I can see Caleb Plant giving him a good fight. You never know. And I was watching an interview of Caleb Plant, and he's got a very good mindset. He's very confident. You can just see he's very focused. He's very dedicated, but it's very hard at this moment in time to pick anyone to beat Canelo with the form he's on and just how strong he is and clever and experienced. And I don't think Caleb Plant has fought anyone of Canelo's level. He hasn't, has he? Some people might say, well, Canelo hasn't fought anyone like Caleb Plant. So I think it's going to be a good fight. Caleb Plant's going to give him some problems, but I think Canelo is going to do what Canelo always does, and he's going to figure him out. He's going to break him down, and he's going to probably really beat him up or stop him. But who knows? No, you haven't missed the fight yet, Kieran. I think it's on much later, right? It's going to be on like 5 in the morning, maybe later. Fight game is now exploding with MMA boxing. You have bare knuckle and ranked amateur boxing exhibitions. It's all going a bit mad at the moment, isn't it? It's like everything is just merging with one another. The way the times are going, you're going to get everyone fighting everyone. You know what I mean? You're going to get it's just all going to mix. It's going to end up like the Kumite in Bloodsport. I'm not joking, and I'm joking, but it's going to go like that, man. You guys are funny, man. You guys are something else, man. It wouldn't surprise me, man. In the cage, in the square circle, Queensby rules or MMA. Too funny. Should Pacquiao, Muay Thai fighter in Bloodsport. I've got his own movie. That's a classic, man. Any of you seen Bloodsport? Give yourself a pat on the back, man. That means you're definitely born in the '80s or somewhere near then. I think that's one of the best martial art films going. I'd say Enter the Dragon and Bloodsport are the best, in my opinion. Again, I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. Ever watch Grant Cardone challenge Jordan Belfort to fight in the cage? Yeah, but it never happened, did it? It's all good and well them saying all that. I think Grant Cardone would beat him, to be honest. I think Grant Cardone, I could be wrong, but I think he's bigger, he's stronger, I think he trains more, he's fitter. I don't think Jordan Belfort is much of a fighter. I think, there's one thing being a businessman and that's just my judgment. Um, I fancy Grant Cardone to beat him. I think it'll be a mismatch. That's what I'm saying, man. I just look. I'm not being big-headed or anything, right? But I've got quite a good sense of people. I grew up in a rough area around different people, and I can kind of sense when someone is, not a fighter. It's not in their kind of nature, or they're just a talker. And I feel I'm not knocking Jordan Belfort. Obviously, he's a talented person. I've never met him. He's charismatic and that, but I don't think he's much of a physical fighter. And I think Grant Cardone is more physically capable. I think he'd beat him, and he's just a lot bigger than him. I think not that size always matters, but sometimes it does. It's crazy, isn't it? Now we're talking about who would win out of entrepreneurs. The world's going crazy. Everyone wants to fight, man. What's wrong with this world, man? Why can't everyone just be, chill out? Everyone wants to fight each other. Yeah, I love Cobra Kai. I've watched all of it, Jay. I've watched all of it. I'm a big fan. Karate Kid. I'm not embarrassed to say it, man. I like all the cheesy '80s. I've come from the '80s, so I love the Karate Kid and I love the series Cobra Kai. One of my other followers, Chris, he was on the live stream earlier on. He loves it. He always talks about it. But yeah, it's a good little series on Netflix. Come on, man. I know one of you are going to say it's coming. Wax on, wax off. I just can feel it. Someone's going to write that. What's going on, man? There's helicopters outside. It's interesting. The fight game is inborn and natural, neutral. It will never close shop. Sad as that may be, it is what it is. It's a good point. I can't argue with that. Are they black choppers? I've got no idea because I'm not. I've got my blinds closed, and I could just hear it outside the house. It's It's unusual. I don't usually, we get them in London a lot, but not at this time. Someone must have done something, a crime. They must be looking for them. Maybe someone they heard me say Manny's the greatest and they didn't like it, so they come in looking for me, trying to close my live stream down because I said Pacquiao's the greatest. Come on, man. Where is everyone? Usually, loads of people come on, right? When I'm not really that bothered, loads of people come on the live stream now. Yeah, the M16. Listen, man, I ain't done anything wrong, man. All I'm doing is motivating, encouraging people to face their fears and do a couple of Pacquiao videos now and then. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm not saying I want to fight anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone. I'm all about, kindness, love, inspiration. Are they gone now? They're gone. I'm surprised none of you get down, get to the chopper. Do you think one day they will make a movie of Pac-Man? 100%. And if they didn't, they'd be crazy, man. Hollywood have got to do a movie. They've got to get proper actors and do it correctly. Not make it cheesy. And they've got to kind of have this story of this, obviously young kid growing up in the Philippines in poverty. Running on the streets, trying to make money, and develop a real good story, and then show him coming up slowly in the amateur ranks. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? And listen, man, can you imagine if Manny becomes the president of the Philippines? Jesus, man, that's unbelievable. Then imagine the film where he's achieved that in boxing, and he goes and becomes the president of the Philippines. Can't write that in a fairy tale. Yeah, hopefully they do it right, isn't it? There's always a worry that they can, you know, you can. It's funny with films, you can get it right, or they can make it where it's really cheesy and not good. But I think they do it right. Yeah, I was going to say that, Kieran. You said it before me. What Arnold achieved was unbelievable. He was a 7 times Mr. Olympia bodybuilding champion. Then he said he was going to go into acting and become a superstar. Everybody laughed at him and made fun of his voice, and then he became one of the probably the highest paid actors at the time. And then he goes into politics. Unbelievable. What's up with the Joshua Anthony? Mate, I ain't got a clue, Nathan, man. Do you know what? I don't think that fight's going to happen. It's just so much. Whoever's to blame, whether it's on both sides, I just feel like there's an opposing force that won't let that fight happen. I think it's a bit on both sides. It's just I could be wrong. I think they're both frightened to lose to each other, and I think ego's getting in the way. But who knows? Yeah. What's up, Franz? Yeah, Manny's the goat, man. You said it, man. I agree. That's what the title says. You think Joshua will come to beat Usyk? No, I don't. No, I don't. I think Usyk is like a Ugas. I think he's better than Ugas in a different. He's an elite fighter, man. Yes, he's the smaller man. Um, you know what? I think that's a 50-50 fight, man. I really do. I know Joshua's the favourite. He's expected to knock Usyk out, but I'm going with 50-50, man. Usyk's a class fighter. Joshua's he's got a lot of power, and I mean Joshua should win on paper. But what do you guys think? I respect Joshua for taking the fight though, because I didn't think he would. I thought he would swerve that one. Usyk's just got such a difficult style. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? If Joshua loses to Usyk, it just devalues the Fury fight. Lennox Lewis is one of my favorite fighters. Lennox Lewis is my he was always my favorite heavyweight fighter, and people would always argue with me, and not everyone, but people would be like, no, it's Tyson, Mike Tyson, and obviously Tyson's great for his time, but I always preferred Lennox Lewis. So Lennox Lewis is he's in my list of great fighters. I grew up watching all of his fights. My dad liked Lennox Lewis. He used to tell me about him, and I just think he was what he used to say, he was a pugilist specialist. He was, you know, I'm just being honest, man. I'm not knocking it, but Anthony Joshua for me is not better than Lennox Lewis. I think they try and go on and they try and market like Anthony Joshua is like the next Lennox Lewis, but I think Lewis would have destroyed him. But again, that's my opinion. Do you think so? I'm not sure about that. You never know. I didn't think Manny was set up, but you never know, man. There's a lot of corruption in boxing, and I can't say for sure you're wrong because you just never know. It was all a bit strange, though, wasn't it? I mean, we're getting the fight of our life, Spence and Pacquiao, and then a week before, Spence pulls out and there's an injury, and you just don't know. I thought so. I listen. I knew it was going to be a tough fight, but I fancied Manny to beat Spence. Um, but yeah, yeah, we don't want to make excuses, but I do agree with you. Of course, it's going to ruin his game plan. I mean, Manny's been preparing for Errol Spence for 12 weeks, even longer, and then a week before, it's like, oh, you can't. No, it's cancelled. You're going to fight Ugas, and it's not like Ugas was a bum. Ugas is an elite fighter, come from a Cuban background. They're the best amateurs in the world. He come off everyone thinks he beat Sean Porter. He didn't get decisions, so Manny, it's crazy what he did. Like that's what makes Manny great. Like he could have just not took the fight, but you got to say, haven't you? Like you you can't not like Ugas. He's a nice person. He's a nice human being. He's not arrogant. He's respectful. He boxed really well. And same with Errol Spence. These guys are gentlemen. You know what I mean? The fight I want to see, man, and it's just, is it ever going? I want to see Spence Crawford, man. I really want to see that fight. I think that would be huge, man. That would be like Pacquiao Mayweather. Not as big, but maybe close. Is it bank holiday in the States for you guys as well? Because we've got bank holiday over here in the UK or wherever you're from around the world. How you been, Kieran? What you been up to, mate? Everything good? You surviving? Getting on with things post lockdown? Oh, cool, man. Australia. Yeah, I remember. Monday morning. Oh, great. Love the Aussies, man. Love the Aussies. Love the sense of humor, and they just don't care. They're good people, man. I like your guy. You'll know him. I watch a lot of his interviews. He's hilarious, man. Lee Priest, the bodybuilder from Australia. I'm sure you know him. Huh. Do you know it's crazy, right? Listen to this. I've coached people from all around the world, all different backgrounds, and I'm not sure if I've ever coached an Australian. I've coached so many different nationalities. I'm just trying to think. Aussie, man, you've really got me thinking. I can't think. I'm sure there must be at least one, but I can't think. It can't be that many because I would have remembered. You know what? I'm actually looking forward to that fight. For some reason, I don't really like guys coming back, but I bought into the story, the De La Hoya Vito Belfort. I love De La Hoya growing up, by the way. It's kind of funny because before Manny came along, he was one of the fighters from the States that I loved. I'm not sure who's going to win this, De La Hoya would have ate him to death in his prime, but Vito Belfort is a very good fighter, and he's a great boxer. He boxed himself. I think he was pro for a while, and yeah, I don't like knocking people, but he looks to me like he's on juice. He looks like he's on steroids. He's been caught before. He looks like he's on steroids. It doesn't look natural, but I don't know. But I hope De La Hoya wins. I do like Belfort though. Vitor Belfort was probably like one of my favorites from the UFC back in the day. I'm not a massive UFC fan, guys, by the way, but I like some of the sport and I love his style. But kind of crazy. De La Hoya is fearless. He's a big guy, Belfort, isn't he? How much does he weigh? He used to be 200 plus. Yeah, I feel like was pretty obvious, and I feel like De La Hoya's got a lot of demons at the moment. You can see he's been through a lot. He's kind of struggling, and he's trying to find himself again. And I respect that. I liked his honest talk he did, and he was saying, I'm doing this for me, and I'm fearful. I want to overcome my fear. It's taken me 13 years to face this fear. I think that's quite inspiring. A five-weight world champion, a warrior, hugely successful man, admitting that he's frightened, because we all have fears, no shame in it, and he's going to face his fear. And if he gets knocked out, he gets knocked out. He's gonna go for it. Um, I respect that, man. I know De La Hoya gets quite a lot of stick because he the things he's done outside of boxing, and you hear negative things about him, but I can't help to admire his heart, his courage. You know what I mean? And I hope De La Hoya wins, man. I do. Um, and I hope he gets, you know what I mean. I hope he sorts his demons out. He gets back on track because he was a warrior, man, and one of the guys that like what fight I watched that was really memorable with my dad. Gave me great. I was very young, but I remember staying up. This was when we had no internet, no YouTube. You had to go and watch it. My dad took me to his friends. I stayed up till 5 in the morning to watch De La Hoya against Hopkins, Bernard Hopkins. And at the time, obviously, I wanted De La Hoya to win because I supported him. And Hopkins just broke his heart, man, with that body shot. And then I became a fan later on of Hopkins. But yeah, I mean, they were the great fights, man. I mean, De La Hoya Hopkins, these are legendary fights. You know, when De La Hoya beat Vargas, De La Hoya fought everyone, man. He's Manny's De La Hoya's man. De La Hoya was Manny's idol. You know what I mean? So that tells you how good a fighter De La Hoya was. When Manny Pacquiao says he's my idol and he beat his idol, De La Hoya was one of the greats. Yeah, yeah. You know what, Nathan? I'm gonna watch that fight back. Ricardo Mayorga. He was crazy, wasn't he? He was nuts. He used to smoke cigarettes and punch and stuff. Hit that like button, guys, if you enjoy my live streams. I love talking with you guys about boxing and sport. This is a lot of fun. The reason why I enjoy this because for most part on my channel, I've been talking about confidence, anxiety, dating, relationships, which I love talking about. But talking about boxing is fun. It's different. De La Hoya on Mike Tyson podcast called out Floyd Canelo. Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest. Canelo would kill De La Hoya at the moment, and that's not really fair. But I see De La Hoya's heart. He's like, I'll fight the best. I've always done it, so I respect him. But he wouldn't do well with Canelo now. That wouldn't be fair. He's too old. Canelo's too young, too strong. That would be horrible to see. He'd get killed by Canelo. I'm sorry, man. It's true. But in De La Hoya's in his prime, that would be a great fight. I think De La Hoya could beat Canelo in his prime, or either way, that would be amazing. Can you imagine that, guys? Fantasy matchup: Canelo in his prime against De La Hoya in his prime at you know at the certain catch weight. Well, I think YouTube is glitched. It said I wasn't even subscribed, even though I watch all your videos. Well, maybe you got to hit that subscribe button, man. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's weird sometimes. Sometimes I'll put videos up and it says I've only got a certain amount of views, and then now a few hours later the views completely change, or there's been quite a lot of algorithm glitches and stuff, and I don't know what's going on there. You guys know your boxing, man. I love talking to people that really know their boxing. I suppose that's the good thing about, you know, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, that they've, you know, a lot of casual people, people that weren't interested in boxing, are getting interested in the sport now. I wish we could have seen Mayweather Pac. Oh man, I wish. Do you know what, man? I wish we could have seen a trilogy fight of Pacquiao and Mayweather, so we could really find out, you know, who was the better fighter out of the two. Because I think at their level, you know, one fight anybody could win that. Okay, Floyd got the decision; he did win the fight. It was close, but if they fought three times, we'd really get to find out who was the better fighter. You can't always tell in one fight, right? Because anyone can have a better day or an injury. Whereas if they had three fights, like Pacquiao did with Marquez, or four fights, you'd find out who was the best. A bit like what Fury and Wilder are doing, you know. This is their third fight. So I like the idea of that, you know. I think if you get two guys that are the best in their era, they shouldn't fight once because it could be things can happen. I'm not making excuses, but it could be luck, bad luck, injury. But if they have three fights, you're going to find out who's the best. You should do a review. It has a list name of people he wants to box next. Yeah, I saw him do that. I saw Jake do that. It's just marketing, most of it. He's not going to get the Canelo fight. Canelo would kill him. I mean, that's what they did back in the day, Franz P. They did a lot of trilogy fights, you know. They did rematches. I love those days, you know what I mean? Sugar Ray Leonard lost the first fight to Duran. Then he rematched him, and then there was the no mass. He won it, and then I think he had another fight and beat him. Obviously, Hagler, um, no Hans, Leonard. They had two or three fights. You know, those are the days, man. Let's be honest. It would be great if Errol Spence and Crawford had two fights. You know, not just one fight. 100%. It does solve that question. Yeah, like Ali, Frazier, Liston, all those guys, Robinson, Lamotta, Marciano, Jack Dempsey. You know, those guys would fight again and again. They were these guys were fearless, but the way the business of boxing is today, it's like everyone's scared. The promoters are scared for their fight to lose, and it's just bollocks, really, man. But I do believe I am optimistic. I do think boxing, like, we are going to get another wave. It is going to improve. I think it has to. I think the fans are demanding certain things change, and we got too many belts now. You know what I mean? We don't know who the real champions are. It's like too many made up belts. They need to reduce the belts and just, you know, define. Back in the day, it was like one champion. You know, I mean, you knew who the middleweight champion of the world was, or sorry, my back. And now it's like, you know, everyone's. I don't know. I really want to see the lightweights get it on now. I want to see Javante Davis fight Teofimo Lopez, or I would love to. Do you know what rematch I'd love to see, guys? I don't know how you feel. I'd love to see Lomachenko rematch Teofimo, because I think that was a really good fight, the first one, and do a second one. You guys are forgetting as well about the Great British era. You know, I don't know if you. I'm sure you guys know Chris Eubank, Nigel Ben Eubank. Obviously, Nigel Benn coming over to the States, fighting your guy, beating. Obviously, it's unfortunate what happened, but Gerald McLennan, they were great fighters. What time does this the bill start with the Jake Paul and all that? Is it? Do you guys know the time? It's probably I don't think it's yet. Are we all just killing time here for the Jake Paul Woodley fight? Yeah, every night I try and watch like one classic fight. What did I watch yesterday? I watched De La Hoya Vargas. That's an amazing fight. I watched Pacquiao Cotto the other day again. I love that fight. Um, yeah, I'm going to start getting the old ones in. Are there lots of boxing clubs in my area? There are a lot of boxing clubs, Nathan. I'm lucky actually because where I am in central London, and I've got a relationship. I've been to quite a lot of them. So yeah, there's not loads, but there's enough. You know what I mean? So I'm blessed with that. I always say to anyone, man, you don't even if you don't want to fight or spar or get hit, that just to go in the gym and train boxing is life changing. Just to learn the basics, just to hit the bag, do some skipping, shadow boxing, pads, work out. I'm back in the gym myself, and it gives you so much confidence and positive energy, and it's great for fitness. I've got to keep in shape these days, guys, because you just never know when a YouTuber is going to call you out. Oh, boy, it's good to laugh. I'm in a good mood. What's going on here? It's in my own live stream. I'm going nuts. Yeah, man. Busy bear. You got to keep in shape. You just never know, man. You might get called out by a friend, a family member, next door neighbor, YouTuber. I'm sure you guys would. Do you know what? I was thinking the other day, and I'm joking, but I'm half serious. I reckon I probably would get a lot of tickets if I was to have a, if I was to have a fight, a YouTube fight, fighting at someone. I reckon my followers, I'd get a lot of people coming. Or maybe I'm a bit deluded, but I think I would. Probably more than is on my live stream now. Not showing off now, but the channel is on around, what is it, 33,500 subscribers. It's not bad. Several million views. Um, so you never know. You guys crack me up. No, those guys ain't ready for me, Nathan, man. They don't want none of this, man. They don't, look at this. They don't want any of this. Look at this. And no steroids. I'm not on any of that. This is all natural. What am I now? It's 200 pounds, a wrecking machine. No, I'd have to lose some weight actually. When I used to box, this is way too heavy for my natural weight. I have to probably come down to. I'll probably come down to super middleweight. I'd have to lose like a lot of weight. Glad you guys find it funny. I like to laugh. Do you fight yourself? You're funny. We all fight ourselves, man. We're all battling. That's the biggest challenge. Nah, Nathan, those guys are not ready for me, man. They don't listen, man. Do you think they want a piece of this? Do you honestly think that? Do you think they want some of that? I don't think so, man. I'm in my prime, man. I'm almost 38, but I'm getting some of that Pacquiao vibe. I can still go. Father Time's not beat me yet. Man, I don't want to put hands on any of these guys, man. Oh, no, I'm just making myself funny. I'm in a good mood. Listen, man. All I'm trying to do is get my fitness back again in shape. I'm not calling anyone out. Who would you actually fight if you got offered? Everyone, all my followers, I'll fight all of you. Just joking. Do you know why I'm laughing? Because I don't know, man. At my age, or when you get older, I just find it hilarious. This whole calling people out, I find it cheesy and a bit silly. It's not really my style, but I would be lying. There is a part of me. I'm only human, right? There's a part of me in my mind going, yeah, I've still got it. I can still fight. I can still box. I can win. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know. Mate, I do burpee. I did burpees. You're definitely right. You know your stuff, Nathan. One of the hardest exercises to do, and most gym goers, they won't go near that exercise because it's a killer doing burpees, especially when you've been skipping, hitting the bag. 100%, man, 100%. Totally agree with you. Much better to have a fair fight, and usually, no one gets hurt too much. Well, listen, man. If there's any promoters out there that can offer me some life-changing money, and if it's for a good cause, then maybe I'll consider coming out of retirement and doing getting a fight on. Who knows? Never say no, right? Yeah, well, we got a lot of knife crime over here, Nathan. But you're probably right, and we've had a lot of guns and stuff, but I don't know, man. I hope it just gets better, calms down. You make me laugh. Yeah, a lot of knife crime. Not Chicago though. Trust me on that. By the way, guys, if you I don't know if you guys know the boxing channel. He's a friend of mine, and I think they're the best, right? Subscribe to their channel, True School Sports. Great guy, Brendan, and his dad. I love their channel. I'm subscribed, and he's a lot more knowledgeable than I am. I'm not an expert on the boxing like he is. So if you want to subscribe to a good channel and it's from America, from the States, they're good. Check them out. True School Sports. Okay, I'll write in the chat. Let me send you the link. If you like my stuff, I think you'll like theirs. True School Sports. Hold on. This guy's really good in his dad. Johnny, why are you awake so late? The reason I'm awake so late is because it's bank holiday Monday tomorrow, and my gym's shut, boxing gym's shut. So I'm gutted that I can't do boxing tomorrow. I booked it for Tuesday. I've got a lot of things done this week. I'm excited. The boxing's on later tonight, so I just felt like doing a late night tonight. Yeah, True School Sports. They'll be covering the Woodley fight. They're brilliant, man. I love their channel, man. They're really good people as well. So definitely subscribe. They're growing now as well. I think they're on 37,000 subscribers. But it's not even about that. It's just good people putting out, good information. What is the holiday in the UK? It's just a bank holiday Monday, Nathan. It's just like one day, which is like a day off. There's quite a lot of other channels from the UK that are doing. I think a lot of people are on live tonight because of the Jake Paul fight, doing streams and that. So I thought, why not? Why won't I go live late? Yeah, please do, guys. If you do enjoy my videos, my streams, if you get positivity out of it, or you enjoy talking to me, or you know, hit that subscribe button because it is appreciated. It is nice to grow the channel. It does help. So you are contributing a lot by subscribing. Obviously, if you're not feeling it, then don't subscribe. Ever been to Fury's dad's gym? No, I've never been to their gym, Nathan. I think their gym is like it's outside of London. It's far away from me. I'm sure you know the fighter David Hay. I've trained in David Hay's gym. Um, I trained in a famous gym in London called All Stars Gym. The boxer Ashley Fearfane, he came from that gym who fought for the world title against Broner. So I've been training in a lot of the famous gyms in England. I trained in another gym, St Pancras. Yeah, I love the UK gyms, boxing gyms. They're really good. I'd love to train in some of your gyms, man, even for a visit. Any of them, the Wildcard Gym, the Mayweather Gym, um, Justin Fortune's gym. You've got so many good gyms in USA. Oh, sorry, I've got my back's got tragic. Oh, fuck, man, I've got so much energy. I feel like I could work out now. No, I haven't been to America. Um, One of my goals that I haven't managed to reach yet. Got a lot of friends out there though. A lot of previous clients. I've coached a lot of people from the US. I've got friends from Queens, from Cincinnati, from Florida, probably other places, New York. So I've got quite a big connection with you guys. Do any of you guys watch the Teddy Atlas podcast? I really enjoy it. He's good, Atlas. He's good. Very, very good. Yeah, I wonder what Pacquiao's going to do because it's gone quite quiet on his side, isn't it? He's got back. I don't know. I just got a feeling he's going to retire now. Quite a few people are saying that he's not going to retire. He's going to fight Ugas again. What do you guys think? Do you think he can beat Ugas again? I think he can. I think if he trains for 12 weeks, I think he can do it. I've only seen it once, to be honest, but he's a good analyst. He's a very good analyst. Teddy Atlas isn't brilliant at getting predictions right. He gets a lot of the fights wrong, but his knowledge on boxing, obviously, he's a very good teacher, and um, his ability as an analyst is amazing. What is your strongest punch? Jab, cross? I think my strongest punch has always been my right hand. I've got a really powerful right hand. I've got a good one too as well. I'd say all of them, to be honest. Um, my hooks are not as strong, but I'm more of a straight puncher. I like punching in straight lines, a bit like I suppose Tommy Hearns or so. Yeah, I've always had a big right hand and a big one too. Um, I don't know if you've seen. I'm not showing off. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm anything, but I've got videos online. You can see me hitting the bag and hitting pads. See for yourself. Yeah, he's left LA right now. He's landed in the Philippines. I feel like he's retired, but he's just kind of giving it a bit of time to announce it publicly. But I don't know. It would be nice though, wouldn't it, if he come back and beat Ugas? It would be, but then it would be like they never leave him alone. It'd be like now he's got to fight Spence. It's a bit of a blessing and a curse boxing. There's always someone else to fight. What or who sparked your lifelong interest in boxing? My dad. My dad. If it wasn't for my dad, I don't think I'd have any interest in boxing. He got me into it from a young age. I wasn't into it. I wasn't really into fighting as a kid. I was kind of like timid in that way. My dad, he kind of toughened me up, taught me on his hands basics, and then he would always watch the fights, my dad, and say, come watch this fight. So first memories were with my dad watching Mike Tyson, Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, Steve Collins, Lennox Lewis. So it was my dad that sparked my interest, and then after that I kind of went off on my own journey with boxing and started kind of watching it myself, educating myself. And, you know, I kind of stumbled across Pacquiao. But yeah, thanks to my dad, because if it weren't for him, then I wouldn't have been interested in the sport. I think he'll fight more. His main problem was his feet, but other than that, he didn't look too bad. Yeah, I don't know if you Fizzly Bear. I don't know if you watched it again, but when I watched it again, maybe it's psychological, but I thought Manny looked better. But the first time I saw it, I was shocked. I thought Manny looked like he'd aged. It just didn't look like he. It's like he had it. He still had the speed and the power, but it was like his moves wasn't working anymore. Those moves that used to always work 100%. It almost felt like Pacquiao was I almost felt like Pacquiao was doing his moves, and even he was shocked at like, oh my god, my moves are not working. What's going on? You know, what I mean, I've always been an expert, but when I watched it back again, um, I felt like Manny was kind of beating Ugas up in quite a lot of areas of the fight. I don't know, it's a bit maybe that's what I want to see, but he he definitely slowed down. He's catching up. Um, According to Teddy Atlas, he thinks Manny looked great. He kind of said he thinks Manny could have won. Manny won that, but it didn't go his way. Atlas thinks he thought he looked brilliant. I disagree with him a bit. I thought usually Atlas is really accurate, and I want to agree with Atlas because I love Manny and I'm a fan. But I've got to be honest, I felt like Pacquiao. He didn't look the same now. Like he didn't look the same in the Furman fight. He just seemed to me a bit. I don't think shot's the right word, but yeah, just slower. Just like he's lost it. He didn't have it 100%. It's sad. But then what do you expect? He's human. I mean, I'm not making excuses, but I kind of feel like Manny overtrained as well. Some of you said that for that fight, he trained probably did too much and maybe burnt out a bit. But he looked so fast in training. He didn't look like his legs slowed down. And when he was doing that, when he does the shadow boxing and the moving, he looked electric, even in the changing room, warming up. But when he got in the ring with Ugas, it was like he had cement in his legs. He couldn't. He just stood flat-footed in front of Ugas, and he was just kind of let him. He kept getting jabbed and touched. So that's what was a bit shocking. But his hand speed's still there. He's still his hands are really quick, but his timing was off. He was missing a lot of shots. That was clear to see. Yeah, apparently in sparring he was looking really good, wasn't he? But then again, we don't really know because sometimes they lie, don't they? Like they're not going to say if Manny didn't look great in sparring. Freddie Roach is not going to say Manny's doing bad in sparring. They're not going to say that. Um, Brendan B, you watching the Jake Paul fight? I'm probably going to watch it now. Yeah, probably will. I'm getting a bit tired though, but yeah, probably will watch it. When is it starting? The undercard? Is it soon? Freddie was complaining that he was overworked, that he runs a. Yeah, I think he overtrains, man. I think he's been doing it for a lot of fights, um, which is so admirable. But at the same time, I feel like yeah, too much running. He just trains too much because he just loves it. He's like fitness fanatic. But yeah, Ugas was big as well. He was a lot taller, and yeah, I just felt like Manny was getting hit too much. He was too stationary. That's not Pacquiao. He's not usually like that. But let's be honest, guys, isn't it? We didn't want it to happen, but it was inevitable. It was only a matter of time. If Manny kept fighting, at some point he's going to slow down. He's human. He's not Superman. As good as he is, every fighter is going to, he's going to eventually get to a point where they're going to slow down. They're going to, Father Time is going to catch up with them. Um, I don't know, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, Errol will destroy Manny, and if it was Errol in there, but we don't know what's left of Errol, so I can't really say. I can't say because it wouldn't surprise me if Manny beat Errol, but it wouldn't surprise me if Errol beat him. I'd have to make Errol the favourite based on Manny's last performance, but with Errol's injuries, and I don't know where he is mentally, I don't know what's going on. So I'm not sure about that. But yeah, probably make Errol the favourite. But if you're talking about prime Pacquiao, no chance. He beats Errol Spence, he beats all these guys, but obviously that was a long time ago. Pacquiao that fought Cotto, he's invincible, man. These guys are not, they can't beat him or anyone. Pacquiao that beat Hatton or De La Hoya or the Pacquiao that beat Bradley, I thought was excellent. It's kind of hard to accept though, isn't it, man? Manny's been going for so long. We've had such a good journey, and to kind of accept that he's not, it's hard to even admit it. I'm finding it hard to admit that he's not, like his time's come. No, I don't watch basketball, sadly, man. Again, I didn't. It wasn't really on. It wasn't on TV much growing up. A little bit. I played basketball at school a bit when we were younger, but I've kind of missed out on basketball and baseball. It's not like I don't like the sports. It's just that I haven't really. It hasn't really been big in the UK, so I didn't really get. Do you know what I mean? A chance. The main sport I've been into is football and boxing, and I've kind of gone off football, but I've always stayed with the boxing. So kind of boxing's been predominant sport that I've watched. But I know for you guys in the States, it's huge, isn't it? Basketball and baseball is really big. Yeah, I know that Manny and Floyd play basketball. Obviously, guys, I know who the big names are, but I don't watch it. Used to play the video game though back in the day, which was really good. I can't remember the name of it. What's the name of it? Oh, I can't remember. So let's just see. Let me just check if see if True School Sports are doing the stream. When's this? I think the undercard is going to start soon, right? This Jake Paul. Who else is fighting on the undercard? It's um, okay. True School Sports are live now, so it must be. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm just checking to see what time the I think the thing started, guys. Well, Johnny live again. Yeah, it's one of those special nights, man. It's not going to be. I'm not going to be like this every night. Um, I think it started now. I don't know where you watch it. I'm gonna have to check and figure it out. Go online, go on Google. Um, but you can always watch along with True School Sports, one of the other channels. They're not going to show the actual fight. You'll get the commentary. So yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, guys. I really enjoyed the chat. We'll do many more of these. Um, yeah, we're on a totally different time span for you guys. Us guys in the UK, this is really late now. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Um, all right, guys. I'll catch up with you soon, man. Hopefully, you guys will get to watch the fight. You'll enjoy it, and we'll talk soon. There's many more fights to talk about. We'll see where Pacquiao is going to end up. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos, live streams. So appreciate it, man. Thanks for you guys coming on. I love the late chat. Wish all of you well, and what I always say, become fearless.